السلام عليكم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين. مدد يا رسول، مدد يا سادة أصحاب رسول، مدد يا مشايخ دستور، وما شاء الله خالد سيد محمد حكاني مدد طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجميع. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. صدق الله العظيم. Dünya hayatı Allah Azze ve Celle buyuruyor. Sırf dünya oyun eğlence olarak şey yapıyor.
Allah Almighty describes in the Holy Quran life in this world as mere amusement and diversion. This life in this world is nothing but diversion and amusement.
Onun dünyanın kıymeti yok.
And since this life, this world is nothing but diversion, this world itself does not have any value.
Allah Azze ve Celle biz dünyada yaşıyoruz ama onun kıymeti yoktur.
Allah Almighty made us live in this world. However, we must know that this world itself does not have any value.
Çünkü bu kalmayan şeyin kıymeti olmaz.
Because this world is not a place that is everlasting, and something that is not going to last forever has in reality no value.
Onun için dünya için insanlar savaşır, birbirlerini öldürür, birbirlerine.
People, however, they fight for the sake of this world. They wage wars against each other for the sake of this world. They kill each other for the sake of this world.
Kötülük yapar dünya için.
And they do badness against each other for the sake of this world.
Onun da hiçbir kıymeti yoktur.
But what for? For something that has no value.
Kıymet ahirettendir.
What is valuable is the hereafter.
Dünyada kıymetli olan şeyler Allah Azze ve Celle'nin evleridir.
And what is valuable in this world are the houses of Allah Almighty.
Kabe,
It is the Kaaba.
Mekke, Medine, Münevvere.
It is the holy mosque of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, in Medina.
Kudüs.
And also the sacred mosque in Jerusalem.
Başka nerede mescid var, cami var, onlar kıymetlidir Allah indinde.
And in addition to these three holy sites, everywhere where a masjid is to be found, every masjid, every mosque is a sacred place which is valuable and precious.
Yani dünyanın içindeki kıymetli şeyler bunlardır.
It is these masjids and mosques, these houses of Allah Almighty, which are valuable in this world.
Onların dışında dünyanın hiçbir kıymeti yok.
Apart of these places of value, there's nothing valuable of this world.
İtibarı yoktur. Dünyaya onlar da zaten dünyalık değildir. Onlar ahiretliktir.
And these places, these mosques and masjids, they are valuable and they are not for the sake of this world, but they are for the sake of the hereafter.
Allah Azze ve Celle'nin Peygamber Efendimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem'in mescidi,
the Kaaba, the house of Allah Almighty, the blessed mosque of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him,
mescitler, camiler, dünyada olan,
and along them all other masjids and mosques,
Allah rızası için olan yerler, dergahlar,
they are dedicated for the sake of Allah Almighty.
Türbeler, onlar Allah rızası için, Allah için olan şeylerdir.
All mosques, all masjids, all dargahs, all maqams of the awliya, they are all places which are dedicated for the hereafter, for the sake of Allah Almighty.
Onlar dünya için olmadığı için
These places are not places for this world.
Onların dünya yeryüzündeki kıymeti onlardır.
And since they are not for this world, they are valuable because they are dedicated for the hereafter.
Ne gökdelenlerdir, ne şehirlerdir, ne saraylardır.
These places, the masjids, mosques, dargahs, and turbas, they are the places which are valuable. It's not the skyscrapers, it's not the famous cities or places which are special or valuable.
Onların hiçbir kıymeti yok Allah Azze ve Celle'nin indinde.
Those places, they don't have any value in the sight of Allah Almighty.
İnsanların indinde de olmaması lazım.
And people must also not attach value to those buildings and places which are dedicated for this world.
Ama insanlar tersine kıymet verilecek şeye kıymet vermiyor.
But people do the complete opposite. They attach value to those places and things which are not valuable, and to those which are valuable, they don't give any value.
Kıymet verilmeyecek şeye kıymet veriyor. İnsanlar yurtlarını, şeylerini bırakıp
And people are that extreme in their views for that they even leave their homelands, their homes, to go to places which are dedicated for this world and therefore have no value.
Mecbur olmadığı halde onları bırakıp
And they leave their homes and their homelands without actually being forced to and without any necessity for the sake and going after worldly places.
başka yerlere gidiyorlar ki dünya peşinde.
And in fact, they are running after this world.
Dünya için. Ama dünya için olmayan şeyler kendilerine Allah Azze ve Celle'nin yeri size dininize mani oluyorsa ya o vakit Allah'ın Azze ve Celle'nin yeri geniştir, büyüktür. Başka yere gidebilirsiniz.
A purpose to migrate may be that where you live, you're hindered and prevented from living your religion and fulfilling Allah Almighty's commands and orders. That may be a valid reason to migrate. And Allah Almighty says that He Almighty Allah created this world wide, and there is a place to find everywhere.
Ama daha lüks hayat için, daha şey için, dünya menfaati için bırakıp da gitmek, o dünya peşinden gitmektir onları.
However, one should not leave one's home for the pursuit of worldly ambitions to lead a more luxurious life. This should not be the driving force behind you leaving your homeland or your home.
Bir faydası olmaz.
If you do so, if you leave your home for the sake of pursuing worldly ambitions, then you will not find benefit from that endeavor.
Allah razı olmaz ondan.
And Allah Almighty will not be pleased with you.
Allah çünkü rızkı her tarafta verir.
Because it is Him, Almighty Allah, who provides for you, and He will give your provision wherever you are.
Nerede olursa rızkını verir.
Wherever you are, He, Almighty Allah, will provide for you.
Onun için ahiret için olan şeylere dikkat edin.
Therefore, be careful and pay attention to what is for the hereafter.
Yaşadığı vakit insan, sen şimdi giden gitmiş, ötekiler rızık peşinden şuraya gideceğim. Allah rızzaktır.
And people, nevertheless, they forget that He, Almighty Allah, He is Ar-Razak, He is the one who provides. And yet people are still worried about their provision and they leave their homes and homelands.
Sen rızkını nerede olursa verir.
And wherever you are, Allah Almighty will provide for you.
Gene de dikkat etmek lazım. Dinim kalır mı?
You must be careful about your decisions. And when you decide, when you plan to leave your home, will you be able to preserve your religion in the place where you now want to go to?
Ben dediğin kalır mı?
Will you be able to fulfill your religion in the place you intend to go to?
Çocuklarım bende kalır, çocuklarım da kalır mı?
Will my children continue and preserve their religion in that new place?
Çocuklarım da kalır, torunlarım da kalır mı diye.
And will my descendants and will my grandchildren also be able to preserve their religion in that new place?
Dikkat etmek lazım.
This is what we need to worry about and be careful about.
Oraya da nereye giderse insan, dediğimiz gibi Allah Azze ve Celle'nin sevdiği yerlere de devamlı orada olması lazım.
And again, wherever we are, we must make sure that we are in places which Allah Almighty loves, and the houses of Allah Almighty are to be found everywhere.
Mescitler, dergahlar, camiler nerede olursa olsun onlara sığınması lazım.
Wherever you are in this world, there will be a mosque, a masjid, a dergah, a place of Allah Almighty where you should seek refuge in.
Allah yardım eder.
Seek refuge with Allah Almighty in those places dedicated to Allah Almighty, and Allah Almighty will help and support you.
Allah muhafaza eder inşallah.
And Allah Almighty will protect you.
Allah insanlara, Müslümanlara yardım etsin inşallah.
May Allah Almighty help and support the Muslims
Dinimize muhafaza edelim.
so that we may preserve our religion,
Çoluk çocuğun dinleri muhafaza olsun inşallah.
so that also the religion of our children and of our descendants may be protected.
Amin Allah tevfik. El Fatiha.